Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a happy Tuesday to the beautiful you. And yes, you are beautiful. Oh my god, I didn't update my green screen settings. Story time. When you lose power to your computer, as many of you have been following me on the saga on Twitter, it's green, Corbin, it's green. Whenever you lose power, what can happen is your devices can desync. So for instance, I have XSplit, which accepts such things as video input. It can also accept such things as this graphic that says Day 9 TV, be a better gamer. You can sort of arrange these elements together in a nifty way, but the link between the camera and XSplit goes busto when you lose power. So what I have to do is delete and reset everything up, and I forgot to put on the green screen settings, but don't you worry, your pal Day 9 has this memorized by heart. Chroma key, 2080, baby. And now I am but a perfect grand-screened man. And look at this. Oh, yeah. Why am I so small? Day 9, enhance. There it is. Ugh, get scooted and booted into that wall. And pow. And then you know what? We need that little overlay. There it is. Day 9 TV. Be a beater gamer. Oh, he is the beaterest gamer of them all. Hey, so I want to talk about electricity, right? And it is because I do feel a little chemistry between you and I. Ooh. So, shorted out all the power in the house. I couldn't, it was very stressful because, you know, part of what I think brings me some success in the sort of streaming space is, despite the fact that I think I have a relatively relaxed way of speaking, and many people comment this is sort of chill streaming, listen to chill music, stuff like that, there is an element of neuroticism that I have. Like, I get really obsessed, like, I gotta zone in and do the thing. That's why a lot of times when I'm doing these types of shows, I'm speaking like at a relatively quick clip. I got a lot I gotta say, I have material I want to present, and I get really in the zone to do it. What the Deck is one of those shows where I try to generally get into that state of focus, because I'm like, we're going to clown around, but I got to be funny, and I got to be present, and I got to make sure that we're making it a show. It's not just a stream where we're chill and chatting and doing all that sort of thing. It is a damn show, baby. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And then at 10:45, the power went out in the house, and I was like, ah! But it went out in half the apartment. So the solution was to get a whole bunch of extension cords just dangle them out into the main living room area. And maintenance crew came in. They're like, okay, we don't know what's wrong. It'll take us a few hours to fix it. And I was like, I have a show in an hour. Get out of my apartment. So they came back today. That's why we're going live late today, because they got here around 9:30, 10, relatively early. And it took them until about 1:45 to figure out and fix what the issue was. And it actually quite surprised me. On this half of the apartment, this is where the computer media streaming room is here, and there's bedroom. There's bed over there. And then out there is like kitchen living room area. Well, in the bed, there was a surge protector plugged in because got to charge the phone and got a little lamp, and I want to just have things to have electricity there. Well, the headboard had been leaned against the power cable of the surge protector in such a way that it kept slowly bending and bending and bending and bending until it had actually touched the side of the metal box in the back of the outlet. And that just shorted the circuit and destroyed all electricity to this side of the house. And it just took them a long time to figure that out. It just took them a long time, because basically they took this outlet and that outlet and that outlet, and they pulled out, and they were pulling all the cords out and testing it one at a time. And they were like, okay, and has this ever lost power? Okay, so it can't be these. And they just kept going through again and again and again and again and again and again until they actually called in more maintenance people. So there were like 3 people in here pulling out cords, doing stuff. I'm like really grateful to the staff for actually like throwing so many resources at it. And then they were just like, oh, okay, yes, it's this thing was touching that thing. It's this breaker. Don't plug this specific type of cord into there. Make sure it has a flat back. And I was like, very well. I will say, the thing that frightened me the most was, it was the morning of What the Deck, right? It was yesterday morning. I told the story yesterday, I don't give a shit. So, for any of you who's never seen, like, you know, all the electrical circuit breakers in the house, there's these switches that you have to push real hard in order to lock the electrical current to some area of the house. So you'll have like, the kitchen and the laundry and the living room area. They'll each have a different circuit breaker. And when it trips due to an overload or a short, that's a safety mechanism to make sure that it's not continuing to pump current into something that is drawing too much power or where there's a short circuit and, blow the thing out. So it trips and cuts the current off. And sometimes this just happens and you just need to pull it and lock it back in again. Everything's fine. And you can proceed as normal. The safety mechanism has worked. Everything's fine. But because this was a short circuit, when you tried to put it into the power position, it would immediately trip again. And so this maintenance guy comes in. It's like 9 a.m. I slept for like 4 hours before What the Deck because I was like trying to reset up everything with extension cords, like, driving out, getting stuff, bringing back, testing, resetting up everything. Because as we heard at the start of the show, when you lose electricity to a computer, a lot of times all the streaming setup stuff just gets desynced and you have to like reset everything up. So it's like, oh fuck, and I was a little anxious before because I was like, what if there's something actually really wrong in the apartment and there's going to be an electrical fire that starts? I have to make sure I have a backup thing set up, so like try to make sure I'm coordinated to go to the Twitch offices that I'm like a little over half an hour from so I can get to the Twitch offices and stream. So I'm like not seeing getting there, and this electrician comes in and he sees a circuit breaker and he's like, all right, right? He puts it in the on position, pops, and he goes, huh? And he just goes, chicka 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 chicka, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, don't start a fire, don't. He's like, huh, this is weird. He leaves, he brings his boss back, the boss comes in, he goes, huh? And I'm like, fuck. Like, I need to do a show where we don't try when we play Magic. Like, the emotional temperaments are getting completely misaligned, getting all strung out before I dick around and have fun, man. Oh, Jesus, man. And I don't know that much about electricity. I don't know a lot about electricity. So I don't know if that's fine to do, but it's freaking me out, okay? Because it just keeps going, because, again, if you've never used one of those circuit breaker boxes, they have horror movie deep bassy clicks when it locks back in, because it's in this large metal box that acts as this resonator for the switch. So it's just going, and my cats are like, meow, and they're like freaking out, and I'm like, but as it turns out, it's fine. Zion says, yeah, definitely could have started a fire. Eventually, depending on the load. And that's the thing, because whenever you try to figure out what's wrong with anything on the internet, it's what I'll describe as the WebMD effect, right? It's, let's be honest, life almost always is pretty boring. You have a headache. What do? You say to your friends, I got a headache. And they go, that's too bad. And the next day you don't have it. And life goes on, right? That's how life works. That's what you fucking expect to happen with life, right? Oh, what do you know? The power's out. And someone comes in and they're like, yeah, it's because this cord was bad. And you go, that's too bad to have a bad cord, right? This is kind of the way the life actually works. But on the internet, you tend to have the thing that has the most emotional weight and spike associated with it just skyrocketing up in SEO. So when I Google circuit breaker will not stop tripping, it was like, if you have a circuit breaker that will not lock into the on position, aka it continues to trip, call an electrician immediately and make sure you have renter's insurance. And I was like, honey, did we renew renter's insurance? Because I think the house is going to burn down. Oh, fuck. If the house is burning down, I can have the cat stay at my friend's house while I do that relaxing, fun-filled show where me and an opponent play janky decks in Magic the Gathering, right? Fucking jeez. And like everything that I would look up would be like, it could be a faulty wire, it could be a blown fuse, or you could be about to get electrocuted. And don't believe in those comic books. You won't get superpowers. You'll just die. And it's so fucking stressful. And I mean, like, I don't know, do you do this? When something potentially bad could happen, your mind gravitates to that which you love most. I was just like looking at there, it's like, you might need 30 seconds to cool down after an overload, but otherwise it could mean your house is going to burn down. And I like look at the cats, and I look at the birds that are in the tree outside the window, and I just begin to well up, and I'm like, We need to make sure that the next apartment has a tree so the kitties can see the birds. Or I'm just getting like so fucking, like I can feel the stress welling up as I'm like telling you this. I just want my kitties to be able to see birds. And then it just turns out that if you lean on a cord, it gets bent, and then if it's sufficiently bendy, your power goes out. And that's what was wrong. That's what actually was going awry. So we made it to now. We did it. We did it. We're alive. Your pal Day 9 is now going to have a nice try-hard session of MTG. Let me go ahead and do the unmuting. Oh, great. It's already unmuted. I'm going to be playing Izzet Phoenix just for a little bit, because I just adore the way this deck plays out. It is a deck where we're trying to resurrect the Arclight Phoenixes. And Finale of Promise is a beautiful spell in this deck because it itself is 3 spells. So it triggers the Arclight Phoenix. First, the casting of Finale of Promise, and then you get to cast an instant and then a sorcery from your graveyard. It's... Dalsooner87 says, am I crazy or does Narset just poop on this deck? Narset poops on a lot of decks. I think Narset is probably the best card in this entire War of the Spark. Let's actually just take a look at Narset. I think I got her on the sideboard. Yeah, Narset Parser of Veils. See that passive? Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. It's very, very good. The thing is, we do have some burn, and we start to set some momentum up right away. The critical piece to note about this deck in responding to Narset Parser of Veils is that if we build up enough tempo and momentum with things such as Goblin Electromancer, excuse me, things such as Goblin Electromancer, and Crackling Drake, and even just the simple shocks, we can put a lot of pressure up. Ninfofan says, add a 4th chart, a course, and remove 1 Tormenting Voice. That's a common build with this, is favoring more chart of courses and favoring fewer Tormenting Voices. This is the more popular build to do it in this way, which I think is like actually pretty fascinating. And the argument for why we want a Tormenting Voice is that it's actually so advantageous for us to put more things into the bin. And this allows us to have a little bit more even of a spread of mana. It's pretty straightforward. Fixes a lot of stuff to have mana evenness. And I personally don't have too strong of an opinion about the 4 chart of course, 2 Tormenting Voice. Some decks will wind up running 4 chart of course and no Tormenting Voice. I'm just sort of following along with the build that I've seen more frequently. And that could be incidental. It could be that totally fucking wrong and everyone likes chart of course more. I just think this is a sort of interesting way to address some mana-based issues. Let's get that tweet out. Electricity is finally running properly in the house. That means my computer has power. That means I'm live try-harding in MTGA. Play first. This is a bad hand. We're gonna get there. Don't tell me we're not gonna get there. Come on, we're gonna get there. We are going to get there. Meow. Hello. That's a good cat. We can actually whiff a land for a turn. I'm not that torn up about it. Oh my god, let me tell you. This cat, this darling baby cat, Despy. She hated having those maintenance people here. Oh, she hated it more than anything. It was the worst. Oh god, it almost ruined her entire day. Alright. Look at that. I already have the Arclight Phoenix in the bin. This is perfect. She didn't hiss, but she sure did hide.
thoughtfulness before action.
So I just want to note, if we were able to get lands out, we'd have the Goblin Electromancer down. And so Narset would hurt some, but we would also have some momentum up already. To be able to deal with Narset.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
And this deck winds up being able to dish out quite a lot of damage over a good chunk of turns. So it's not exactly like an aggro deck where we really need to dish out the damage early. Sort of trickle in the damage.
Hone your prowess.
And then just get some bursts later on down. Despy hated those big, bad, scary men. Oh, it was horrible. But then when the big, bad, scary men left, this cat was so lovey-dovey with Dad. Oh, she's rubbing her head against my knees. And get me out of this game. And the thing that just made me, I was so touched. There's a bird feeder that's set up by the window, and on the other side of the window is the heating pad and the water dish. That way the cats can be on the heating pad, looking at birds and getting everything they need. Right? It's kind of like their living room, right? They watch bird TV on the heating pad. I think maybe we want to keep one beacon bolt, but let's see here. Probably get the shocks out of here. So there's at least 10 or 15 birds out there this morning. It was amazing. 10 or 15 birds. And Despy didn't care at all about the birds. She just wanted to get scritches from Dad. Felt like such a fucking cool dude, man. Let me tell you something. I felt like so cool. Alright, so we're up against a white and blue deck. We'll definitely want our good friend Niv-Mizzet. I think we'll probably want... Man, how did I do this mulliganing last time? I think we don't need the Saheelis. We definitely want the Narsets. We definitely want the Negates and the Disdainful Strokes and the Spell Pierce. But I can't remember which two cards I was cutting last time. Hey, what are we doing? Alright. This entire back room right behind this green screen is a fucking mess because stuff was getting moved around like crazy. I kind of want to keep the beacon bolt, but I guess we don't need it. What was the thing that I cutted? Probably a Drake? I don't know. I just can't remember. Hi, sweetheart. Oh. You know what? I'll be on the play. Hey, I see a hand with some lands making me feel like the man. Should try out the version of this deck with Augur Bolus. That does sound like a pretty cool idea. Boom, dinking, dinking, boom, dinking. Alright, let's take a peek. Good lord. No, no. I really want to hit this land drop on turn 3 to be able to play Narset the Parser. Oh, he never doesn't have it, except for last game, in which case Day and I did not have it. Not even like a little bit, good god. It's me, Narset the Parser. Narset the Parser. Dude, if Murble plays a Narset, that's just gonna really shit on our life. Thank God it's Baby Teferi. Ever heard someone say that before?
This might be a bad idea.
I think taking a peek with the Discovery Dispersal is probably going to be a little bit stronger of a play here. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit unlikely that we're actually able to cast 3 spells in this turn. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is this. And just wait a little bit. I'm not going to try to opt end of turn, obviously, because Teferi doesn't let me.
Trust me, I have
Oh my god, Sluggerfist, I just wanted to brag to Sean since I'm on day 9. Oh, tell me about this. Learned a fact that the average nicotine craving lasts 60 seconds. If you can suffer through that a few times a day for the first week or so, smooth sailing. Oh, dude, you trying to quit smoking, man? That's so awesome. Alright, so you know, I'm just gonna concede this. This combination is pretty shitty for us. Feels good. We got that out of the way. Feels nice. Quitting smoking's real hard. That is real hard. You're on day 9 and no cigarettes. Man, good for you. You're gonna feel so much better. You're also gonna just feel like shit for a while. Every friend of mine I've ever known who's tried to quit smoking has just had a garbage amount of time. Trying to get undead. Nicotine flu is so shitty. Alright, ooh, look at this. Do I want a Discovery Dispersal? We're up against Grixis. Yeah, I think I'll get a little mana or blue mana. Let's go ahead and take a peek in the deck. Let's get that one out. And we definitely always want to keep our good old Finale o Promisas. Oh my gosh, I'm in high spirits today, man, because I have electricity. Yeah, Shadowcast, if you want to send me that deck list on Discord, I'd love it. I'd love it, love it, love it. Alright, let's see here. I mean, I think this is a pretty clear, just like, play the Saheeli, yeah. You know, we played Grixis on air, like, last week, and I did not like it so much. I did not like it so much. Ninfo says, what's your favorite archetype to play, Sean? I think it's about... it is nigh time that I stopped lying to myself. I like green ramp. Anything with a green ramp is super sick, super tight. Makes me feel all good at night. God, I really like that. My God. Yeah. I like bigness. Get this one out. I mean, I think I probably do this and chuck this first. We probably get another land. If we don't, that's also fine. I still think it's a superior play to start getting some good shit in the bin. Who's playing what next deck for what the deck? I'm going to leave that choice up to Mishta Kipla. Alright, let's finale promise for... if I opt and hit a land, then I can finale promise for another opt. Or alternatively, yeah, no, I think this is just going to be the better choice 100% of the time. X is 2 here. What? What? Oh my God, I'm an idiot. There's no instant in there. Because this is an instant and/or sorcery. I was like, why is it not letting me do it? Why is it not letting me do it? All right, we have achieved a change of plans. Of course. Nice. Make it happen. Alright. Bang! Alright, so now, watch this. This is going to be tight. This guy. This artifact becomes that creature. Everybody now. Does this work? Target up to 1 instant and/or yeah. So I got confused because the interface for confirming was a little weird. That's the first time I've casted it without an instant in the graveyard, and I just like could not quite understand what the hell was happening. All right, so we have no Crackling Drakes, but that's okay because we have no Arclight Phoenixes, but that's okay because we have this pupper. I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on the radical idea. That's fine. I never really feel like these Grixis decks can get much momentum against this deck, even with a Cry of the Carnarium. Saheeli is just like stupidly good. All right. I think we're gonna wind up doing a Finale of Promise, but I want to do this first to see if it's possible to like maybe get a Phoenix into my hand. I'm like very skillful and talented and sick. So we'll want the Tormenting Voice and the Radical Idea or the Opt. I mean, I can actually just Tormenting Voice and discard this Phoenix. That's actually probably a little better. I missed lethal. Or excuse me, I missed a lethal attempt. We could have played something and then we could have gotten nuked. So I'm pretty comfortable not doing that play. Yeah, I still like this. We can hold on to these puppers. We can just get a second one in there. Yeah, seems fine. Deck list appears to be broken. Let me look into that because I know that they updated those thingies. My extensions. Is everyone's stuff looking good? Let me just make sure it's not just one person. The Lava Coils seem good. The Shocks seem less than good. Lava Coil's going to come in here. I think Beacon Bolt and Lava Coils are going to be pretty nice cards in this Circumstance. But I don't actually think we need to do that much more to this deck here. We probably want to have a little bit more power with the Niv-Mizzets. We could alternately put in the Negates and the Disdainful Strokes and things like that. Seems fine for everyone? Okay. Saheeli's Sublime Artificer was nice there, but I think that there's going to be enough Bedevils and shit like that. This is not going to be as strong. I mean, I kind of want to do something like this, right? Just start applying pressure and keep banging on in there. I think it's arguable to try to get Niv-Mizzet Parun. I like Saheeli as a card because she seems very good in a lot of game ones. I'm not 100% certain about getting her out there, but just because she was good in one game for us does not necessarily mean much. I actually don't think that any hand hate cards are good against us, period. Maybe that's a wrong attitude. Maybe that is but a boneheaded attitude of me. But the reason I think it's poor is that we have so many cards that just cycle through our deck. It's not like our opponent is ever, under any circumstance, going to be hitting us in a way that becomes irrecoverable. Okay, so I think this is probably going to be a pretty good Discovery Dispersal turn. There's generally not too much counterspell action going on. I want this. Maybe I just want to bin this. That actually seems pretty wise to me. Yeah, that's a much better draw. These Grace's decks tend to be blow shit up and force you to discard kind of decks. gonna just pass one turn, leave a Disdainful Stroke, and begin the Great Bonkening. Goodbye, my friend. So that turned out to be a good choice, because now that it's dead, our opponent might feel a little more comfortable doing like a turn 5 Nickel Bolas, and then I can just Disdainfully Stroke him out. Alright, well, we're gonna lose the Disdainful Stroke for Disdainful Folk. I think I do kind of want to get some more goody goodness here. Whoa! You got it, man. That's... It resolves. Yoish. So look at this. Look at this player. All right, down to almost no cards. This is what always felt like it happened when I would play this puppy. I guess the radical idea. Every time I would play this, I felt like my hand would descend to nothing. Have like no units, no cards, no spells, no nada. Give me something sick. Oh, yes. I guess we don't want it. Because I can't resummon it, right? Oh, I thought I hit the button. My bad. I'm embarrassed. Je suis embarrassé. It also means I am kissed. Let's discard that Lava Coil. Just get it out of there. Nice. That one.
I will return one day. I outsmarted you eons ago.
I think I'm dead. I think this guy actually outsmarted me eons ago. Alright, well, we're gonna kill this Nicol Bolas, and then we're gonna concede. Ah, yeah, that felt pretty good. Alright, give me out. I think this is good. I think Niv-Mizzet's probably going to be pretty bad in this matchup. I kind of want to see if I can get that Spell Pierce in there. I kind of want to get that Spell Pierce. Yeah, I think this is probably great. What to cut? What to cut? I actually think I just ditched the Beacon Bolt. I think this is the right play. I think this is the right play. I think this is the play. My name's Day 9. I think I have figured out that there play there. Oh, I want to play first. This hand is just ridiculous. So we're gonna hang on to that pupper. Island! Pass! Dude, getting a Goblin Electropal down is just so good. It is just so thick, solid, and tight. I don't think I want any more mana, because I'm just invariably going to draw a lot anyways. Oh my god, Day 9. You always know how to get those cards. By the way, I'd like to just note that if we were to peel a... Again, I don't think Duress is good against us. If I were to draw a Tormenting Voice now, instead of a Chart a Course, this is, again, the explanation for why we are doing 3 and 3 instead of 4 and 2. Because we would not have enough mana to do all that which we wish to do. Okay. So I think one of the first things we do is we are going to Discovery Dispersal to see if we can hit a red spell. So we need the Radical Idea. So So we're actually like hoping to get something like a Tormenting Voice. And, you know, if we have to wait a turn, you know, shit happens and that's okay. Alright. Shit happens and that's okay. What a juicy spend, huh? Oh, dude, look at that. Drake. I missed you. Shadowcast, I actually think Chart of Course is better here because you can draw 2 with Goblin attack. You know, Shadowcast, again, we don't have the mana to do that. Because we only had 2 blue sources. That is the pickle which faces us each and every day. I'm gonna chuck that one out of there. So I want to do this and this. We only had 2 blues. Does Goblin Electropal help us? I mean, Finale of Promise is actually just like so ridiculous. Now, what do we have in here? Shadowcast TV says you didn't need to recur Phoenix. You only need card advantage versus this kind of deck. I'm not talking about the overall global strategy. I'm just talking about that's a situation where if we did draw a Chart of Course, we simply wouldn't have the mana to be able to cast it. So I was trying to highlight that because I think that's an interesting question. Why 3 Tormenting Voice and 3 Chart of Course instead of 4 and 2? And the real core answer is it's mana issues, and it was a pretty reasonable turn to be able to demonstrate that. Because if you go really heavy on blue spells, yes, the Goblin Electromancer can discount those. So we don't actually have any sorceries there yet that we can cast. So I think I'm going to hang on to this pupper. And then we're going to place this. Getting that one out of there. Cool. So now we can Finale of Promise next turn. Discovery Dispersal Sorcery. It is, but this has a converted mana cost of 7. 7 from heaven. Boom. Looks like we're going to lose our Finale of Promise, but that also does not matter. Who do we appreciate? Alright, we're going to opt. Dot by do opt. Ooh. I guess that's... What do I actually think about this this Chart of Course right now? I think I do that, right? I think that's actually correct. I'm the best player here. Bing bong. Successfully bing bong. I am the 99%. InfoFan says, if you have a Goblin Electromancer out, can you cast Finale of Promise with an X equals 1 and play Instant Sorcery with a cost of 2? The answer is yes. However, the way that you would do it interface-wise is you would say X equals 2, and then you would simply pay 3 total mana. 2 for the red casting cost, then because X equals 2, that's 4 mana total, which then gets discounted 1. This is a bad hand. So don't make the mistake that I have made before, where I'm like, well, X gets discounted by 1, so, you know, X equals 1, right? Oh, no, X equals 2, but it gets discounted 1. Don't die, Batman. Holy shit, we have not talked about John Wick 3. I saw John Wick 3 last night. I saw John Wick 1 on Saturday. I saw John Wick 2 on Sunday, right before the electricity went out. And then I saw John Wick 3 last night. Oh, let me tell you something. It was good. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. Oh my god. No spoilers. Snape kills Dumbledore. I don't know why it tickles me. Makes it not as good as one, better than two. I love all three of those fuckers, man. Each and every one of the fuckers was good. Right, we're up against Esper, it appears, an Esper control or Esper mid-range deck. Tyrant Scorn is just such a great card. All right, so this doesn't particularly tell us much. We're starting to get choked out of valuable stuffs. Yeah, by the way, even though I just made a bit of a doofy little spoiler joke, we do tend to be pretty spoiler-free and respectful of spoilers. I should say respectful of anti-spoilering. Do I want one Electropal to have another Electropal? How do we win this game? What's our strategy? I think our strategy is we need to get to better cantrips. Like land is dandy, but cycle spells are more handy. Like this is not a spoiler, but the first 25 minutes of John Wick 3 is just some of the greatest action I think I've ever seen. So good. There is a sequence with knife fighting that is just breathtaking. I mean, I was watching it, I was just so happy. I was just like a happy dude. Bam. Freudian says, have you ever seen a Chinese film called Hard Boiled, starring Chow Yun-fat and directed by John Woo? Yeah, it's a great film. I haven't seen it in a really long time. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff, though. If I recall correctly, that's the one with the, like, 5-minute single shot. It's, like, really good. Ever seen the Rainfields? Yeah, I gotta finish Raid 2. I got halfway through it and then just fell asleep. Which is such a fucking funny thing to say. Ah, shit. Yeah, I gotta keep digging. I gotta keep digging for the biggin'. I mean, I'm pretty boned here. Oops. I don't want to do that yet. It's a very hard counter for Finale. In what way? How would that be a hard counter? I think I'm dead here.
That's more like it.
Alright! Yeah! Bam! Boom! Pow! Well, whatever. What the fuck just happened? I'm actually confused. What just happened? You can't cast at instant speed. No, I know. This is a sorcery. So you can't cast. So you obviously can cast Finale, but does it mean that these spells that are casted on top of it are treated as instant speed things? Well, the thing is that, like, I know this says you make each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. Does that apply to things like Finale of Promise that goes onto the stack? Interesting. I see. I see, huh. Okay, I mean, that's just a straight-up misunderstanding on my part about how stack works. Ah, I see. So, really, if anything says some sort of cast on top. Yeah, so, I mean, we pretty much don't have any outs in that regard. We sort of burn through our resources. That's interesting. Okay, well, at least this makes... I think that maybe we hard cut Finale of Promise. This is an interesting position to be in. So let us divine. What is the way out here? This is actually just so good. So what do I think we need to bring in? So our opponent looked kind of mid-rangey. The reason I say mid-range is our opponent showed a big scary bad man. The heck is that guy's name? Thief of Sanity. Opponent showed a Thief of Sanity. So I want to make sure I actually have some nerds. This might be a good Niv matchup. What is our boarding plan here? Does mid-range run a baby Teferi? Yeah. Actually runs a couple babies and a pair of bigs. I actually don't think I changed terribly much. The Saheeli's... Our opponent actually does not run very much draw. I think I'm going to do just this. I think this is the only thing I'm going to do. It's a good looking hand. I don't think there's going to be any one mana thing that can get played that would encourage me to want to run a shock. Because some of you were confused by that last finale interaction. Well, I was for a moment, but the way that Baby Teferi works is it says you can't cast any spell at instant or sorcery speed, which is relatively clear what the heck is going on when... Do I take the hero of Precinct 1 here? I think no. I think we just keep digging and we try to find something better. But for you can't cast things... For you can't cast things at instant or sorcery speed, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going on. With an instant spell, and you're trying to cast it at end of turn, oh, I obviously can't do that because there's a Baby Teferi. Alright, seems to make sense. So far, so good, right? But in Finale of Promise, which is sorcery speed, when you cast it, it then lets you cast 2 other spells immediately. But sort of quietly in there is that those spells are getting cast at instant or sorcery speed. Boy, I'm like really good with my Entrancing Melody timing. Did I call it or what? Paladin always gets it. Actually, this is the worst fucking thing possible. Boy, I should have kept that island. Fuck. Oh my god, that kills me that I just didn't get the mana. Fuck, man. Let's get this radical idea out of here. Well, this could save us if we can find another Arclight Phoenix down there. Holy shit. Alright, I just made a misplay. This was a good ad, but I just screwed the pooch. Anyways. Yeah. It's just one of those little hidden interactions in there where... God, if this dies, I'm gonna be so fucking annoyed. There's like a hidden little interaction in there that things are happening at instant or sorcery speed in ways that aren't explicitly labeled. Alright, perfect. Kind of. What's coming down, my friend? I actually am probably going to need this if this is going to die. Yeah. Farts. God, I am so annoyed at myself for just not keeping that mana. Because I could have done this the previous turn had I drawn a mana. Night-Veil Predator, that's actually pretty hilarious. We're in actually quite good position. I screwed the pooch. I'll 100% trade this Night-Veil Predator in. Alright, see you later, alligator. Probably can't swing against that. God, I was in such good shape. Ah, see, well, the reason this kills me is that, like, the way that I beat this deck is by just getting under him. Getting enough tempo and momentum built up that... Getting enough tempo and momentum built up that I can just, like, you know, hose him quickly in one turn. And unfortunately, what I wound up doing is just not keeping enough land to be able to cast this damn entrancing melody when that's like exactly what I want to. Oh, it's agonizing. Shadowcast TV gift in the 5 subs. Hi, Shadowcast. Hi, is 5 for you, Shadowcast. Thank you on this fine Tuesday. Hey, how'd you guys enjoy What the Deck yesterday? That was a good bit of fun. Enjoyed my time with said deckery. That would be a mistake to do, for sure. I'm liking What the Deck. You know, my hope is that there's enough fun moments in there. That's my hope. My hope is that there's enough fun moments in there. Because, like, when I think back to doing Fun Day Mondays, this seems like an error. When I think back to Fun Day Mondays, that was very controlled because every single game that was shown, so good. Let me make sure I can do this properly. So I do that. 1. 2, 3, and then we go to combat, and we hit him with everything we got. I'm gonna leave this guy back. No, I'm just gonna put the pressure on him. Fuck it. Fun Day Monday is extremely controlled. Perfect. Doing live silliness is very not controlled. I think I will take a Teferi. Yeah, that one felt good. I think our structure is mostly good. Actually, this is what I should do. I should cut that pupper, huh? I even cut all the drakes. Shadowcast says, I like the content, but the deck restrictions were quite boring. Turned out to be less interesting than I thought. I think that's going to happen a lot throughout, where it's going to be unclear how much the restrictions are going to be impactful. Is that my favorite gray cat? Alright. Alright. Where are we going, sweetie pie? What do you want to do? Oh, this is a painful one. I think you chuck the Electromancer. I think that's the right choice. Wowie zowie. Chicken plowy. Let's get him in the bin.
I like
All
a
right.
good fight.
Alright, we may have lost. We may have lost.
I'll be hit the road.
We might be dead, but you know, it's okay. The thing about deck restrictions is they don't actually have to be that spectacular. I think this is actually going to be completely useless in this matchup. No. This is when we want to disco. Hi, Despy. What a good cat. Yeah, the thing about deck restrictions is that it's both the deck restrictions and also the deck constructions. And by that I mean the restrictions don't necessarily force anything interesting to occur. They greatly support it, but they don't force it to occur. You know what I mean? So what winds up happening is we get a lot of submissions that are really straightforward. Like, it's not that interesting. But like when you get like switcheroo in there, that starts to become cool. So I think it's the unison of those two that makes it interesting.
Usually I'm better
I mean,
at
this
dodging.
feels like probably the best choice. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye forever, in fact. And so I think the restrictions wind up being part of the component. This is something that was sort of learned through Fun Day Monday. The Fun Day Monday restrictions, by themselves, don't actually create cool games. They just, by definition, don't. It's when you get those restrictions, and then, incidentally, a very cool game winds up coming out of that. That's when things start to become super cool. When you can combine those two puppies. They're pretty fucked.
You show remorse, I'll show restraint. Don't worry, I got this.
I have the look and feel of a dead man. So yeah, so that's why there's a large submission pool. I think that's...
Funny, that's what
So in other words, I don't mind if the deck restrictions guaranteed... Or let me rephrase that. I don't think it's necessary for the deck restrictions themselves to be super interesting. It's that plus like the combination and the matchup and the silliness. All these together kind of help support it. And I think that the deck submissions will have... Or the submission restrictions will kind of have like varying
I hope you said your goodbyes.
qualities of awesome.
I've got it.
Just naturally, because there's going to be those ideas when I'm like, oh, that's such a great idea, and then I actually do it, and I'm like, oh shit, that idea
Is your death
turned out to be terrible. So, what do we do here? We like... Oh yeah, we can't Finale of Promise, so we'll shock the Teferi.
Time for a drink.
Time for a drink. Okay, let's see. How in the fuck do we do this? You know, I think I actually am just going to be a very, very simple man. I'm going to shock. Fairy.
It's only a matter of time.
And then I think I will play my Goblin Electromancer. Oh my god. I did not mean to hit the next one. Well, that's fine. Just attack this guy here. And then, boom! We're going to opt right now. Well, bam! Didn't expect that, did you? Actually, that would be nice to have. Everything turned out okay.
Good for you. Shuffling me off my mortal coil.
A lot of nerds on the board. Could be a pain. This is going to be a long, grindy game. Crackling Drakes. Okay. We're going to have a shock. We're going to have a lava coil. This is going to be good. I think I actually want to be on the defensive here. So I think that the right play is the following. I think very firstly and very foremostly, we are going to play... I think we're going to play Discovery Dispersal first. Seems like the right thing to do. Well, no, I just don't quite have enough mana, huh? It's okay. Yeah, I think I just have to be very, very defensive here. I think I like shock this. Or not shock, I lava coil this. And then what I do is I'm going to Finale of Promise, and I'm going to make X equals 2, and I actually think I need to shock, and I kind of want to chart a course, but I think I do need to lava coil. Doesn't matter the order to me. Shoot this. This, shoot that. Shadowcast says maybe create a restriction past just the cards in the deck, but something like a NR20 where you can't attack or play spells for 3 turns, something else weird. Yeah, no, I think those are all reasonable. My response was not that, yeah, no, I was bummed that the deck restrictions weren't as cool as I wanted. My point is that the deck restrictions are one piece of the puzzle, and they, in my experience with Fun Day Monday, should actually say with my extensive experience with Fun Day Monday, trying to make every single deck restriction be the most brilliant, amazing thing ever is actually impossible. And more often what happens is you go, oh, here's a great idea, and then you try it, and then you're like, actually, that idea sucked. And that's okay, because it doesn't hinge on that. And if you say to me, I have some ideas for cool deck restrictions, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd love to hear them. Sounds great. I'm going to do one more game with this deck, because I just love this deck. I just think this is so fun. Dum 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 dum. This is actually okay for any of you that are interested in live production, or doing anything live. You must, in your live production, have a plan and structure for if stuff just doesn't quite go interestingly / according to plan. It doesn't quite do it. I have seen many a person crumble as a result of that, man. So what you do is you don't try to say, here is the one thing that I want to do and it must succeed. There you go. Because it's just not going to pan out that way, period. You want to sort of have like a multifaceted contingency there. What was your plan B for yesterday? Like plan B, C, D, E, F, they went all the way down. And that's the thing, is that when you watch what the deck, it looks like that's plan A. And what it actually is it's a whole bunch of contingencies, all multi-layered, all working together. So for instance, this is what I mean. If I said to myself, this deck needs to, or every single deck that's submitted or played needs to be super interesting, super cool, super compelling. That's poor planning. That's just you're gonna hurt a lot. Because what do we see when we play Magic the Gathering normally, huh? What do we see? We see some games are epic, some games are like this one where our opponent dreams Dota, mulligans to 5, and we're probably gonna have an easy win. Sort of shit happens all the time. It's like super common, super fine. So if I have some super dope-ass, sweet, cool idea for a jank-ass deck, you know what's gonna happen sometimes? Can we actually get there? Yeah, pay 2 life. I don't exactly want to disco the Goblin Electromancer. Well, how we did that? Seems pretty good, huh? I'm gonna do this because this block doesn't really matter too much to us. All right, so if we focus really hard on just trying to get the best possible interesting games, that's gonna suck, right? Because sometimes Magic the Gathering games, just due to variance and completely normal things that are really unremarkable, usual components of the game, sometimes stuff just goes bad. I want a Tormenting Voice to try to see if I can get like a Lava Coil to nuke this Shalai. Potato, potato. Yeah, so relying purely on deck construction is one. Or deck restriction, that's one thing that can go awry. So, what are the things that we do? We invite really interesting guests. And then I need to radical idea away this Crackling Drake. Got it. We invite really interesting guests to make it really fun. What's another thing that we do? We have a whole bunch of different decks. So that way we can get a ton of variety. What's another thing we do? We structure it so that there are lots of games that are showcasing different decks that don't matter before some more serious match. And you know what we also do? We make sure that it's, instead of being a best of 3, which can end in a sort of tragic 2-0, we have a lot of flexibility there. So, I mean, like, these are all these support things that make it so that if a game is boring, I can talk to an interesting guest. If a game is exciting, we have a chance to see that deck again. If a game is not exciting, we have a chance to switch to a different deck very easily. If Mana Screw or Mana Flood happens, we can just replay the game very easily, right? These are all things. So when you watch, it just you don't notice it as a viewer, right? You're just watching, you're like, oh, look, it's just a silly fun thing. Cool. It looks like we just got something done very straightforwardly. However, it was extremely thoroughly planned. The decks were very deliberately chosen. We went through all the decks. The structure of the show was rehearsed and planned and thought out before any people were brought onto the show. And this is what helps make it look kind of like easy breezy, straightforward. You know what I mean? We did not get any information, but I'm going to put in a Lava Coil because I'm a badass. I kind of like... Do I like Saheeli's here? Maybe I like Saheeli's here. I'm going to put in Entrancing Melodies because I'm super sick, super thick. I'm going to cut the bacon. I don't actually know what I'm doing here. So when you say to me, what's plan B? It's not that here's the one thing that we're going to do, and if it doesn't work, here's the second thing. This is plan B. It's that we have like 10 different elements that will all be strong or weak at any given point in time. And if we have 3 or 4 being good at any time, then the show's good. That's what you must do if you are doing live content. You have to plan like that. So, you know, when you ever gone to a live show? Or actually, I distinctly remember this happened at a BlizzCon one year. All the computer shit just went busto. It just stopped working, man. Like right before the finals. So they fortunately had a completely filmed and created documentary that they just played. They just played like a 45-minute long documentary while they had time to try to fix shit. So people who got there just were like, oh, cool, what a cool documentary leading up into this finals at BlizzCon. And they're fucking strung out, running around, fixing shit. You didn't notice. You noticed. You're even watching a sporting event, and they just start putting in extra reels of, like, here's what the person's life is like at home, and all these kinds of things. A lot of times, something's not working, and they just have 3 hours of content in the can just to make sure that they can keep the show running. It's pretty straightforward. All right, so we can get this puppy going, huh? No, I guess we don't discovery here, because I do want to be able to Lava Coil this. That's a pretty important card to Lava Coil. All right, so I'm gonna Radical Idea. Then I'm gonna Radical Idea. And I'm gonna Lava Coil. I think we have a pretty significant advantage in this matchup.
Just like before.
So, you know, anytime I'm watching a live show and they're just hanging for like 35, 45 minutes or something like that.
I am not going to see
You know what you do? You go, well, somebody fucked up. Someone didn't have a plan, right? Hoopsie toopsie. So let's go ahead and let's. Well, actually, you know, this Crackling Drake is going to be pretty good here. We don't need to just non-stop Arclight Phoenix. We have so many ways to place that into the bin. This seems like an adequate enough play.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
We don't quite have enough, but we almost do. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a peek. I don't want any of this nonsense. One, two, three, 4, and then 5 next turn, so that's pretty tight. What do we have in here? Do we have a Lava Coil? Do we have a Lava Coil, though? Damn, I don't quite have enough mana to do anything I want to do, man. I mean, why not? May as well just, like, fill this battlefield up, huh? And, you know, I am gonna do a discovery. See if we can get more into the bin. It didn't work. I'm not doing nothing. Hello, our beautiful, crazy friend. Okay. I actually have, like, literally so many options here. Take this. I mean, there's not much our opponent's going to be able to do, man. Oh, that's actually so fine. I do not mind that at all. Alright, so that's death. Alright, that's... I'm not even gonna try to figure this out. Got him. Alright, one more with this deck. Now we're gonna switch to Simic Yoink. But yeah. Live show production's really interesting, man. I have... It's fascinating to me what actually goes into making a live show a compelling thing. So, you know, for instance... Okay, so what have I been saying with regards to live production, right? You have a thing that you want to show, and then you need other filler stuff that's going on in case something goes wrong with the main thing that you want to do. Like you're a sporting event and there's an injury and now there's going to be 10 minutes of time where we address the injury and then we go back to playing. How do you fill that in? How do you fill that time in? Things like that. Super interesting questions for live production. What are the things that are going to... What are the additive elements? Because you're layering a lot of stuff on, right? We are watching a basketball game, and then we have a bunch of stats that are showing up on the screen, and then we have instant replays, and we have commentators, and we have some highlight clips that we're going to be playing throughout. Like, there's all these different things that can be done with some measure of simultaneity. Good for us. All sorts of simultaneity going on. It's super interesting. And then I have seen so many live productions where it's like, all right, guys, we're gonna do the show and it's gonna be straightforward, and then just something goes wrong, and then there's just nothing happening, man, nothing at all. and with games, it's kind of interesting that it's like, in an almost accidental way, game streaming worked really, 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 really well. We're so dead in this game, dude. There's like not a chance in hell I'm gonna live here. Nice. I'm gonna shoot this guy. Die. With games, with game streaming, I need to be interesting. I need to be talkative enough and energetic and bouncy and just do stuff to make people want to tune in. But if at any point I'm running out of shit to say, look at this entire game that just produces interesting moments and content all on its own. Isn't that spectacular? Without me even having to do that much work, neat things are occurring. And so, you know, what are all these additive layers? This game is a good game. It has sound effects. It has music. It has all these things that I can reference. It's very rare to even be able to have that type of contribution to the content with any other thing, right? If I was like, I'm going to live stream myself cooking, okay, then I better have an out-of-control strong personality, because what other production value things can I, a single individual, bring? We're taking some action. Android from NZ says, do you consider risk analysis / risk matrices for production, i.e. elimination and mitigation of risks? I mean, we're so dead, I'm conceding. I would say kinda. I have a healthy disrespect for stupid matrices that are taught in intro-level business courses. I appreciate them as organizational tools. I appreciate them as a thing to help clue your brain into something that you might not have thought about. But there is nothing that can replace thoroughness, experience, and vigilance. Vigilance meaning thinking of what could go wrong and trying to address that, right? Don't want the Crackling Drakes. They're fucking expensive. Saheeli, you're so slow. You're so slow. Give me your Lava Coils. Give me your Entrancing Melodonks. I think I do want these negates in this Spell Pierce. I think these are actually quite valuable for us. We're just going to be nuking and blowing stuff up. Fiery Cannonade feels a little weak for our purposes. I prefer the big guns. I don't actually know if I'm boarding correctly, but I'm just going to give up on this. Yeah, I mean, like, when you have let's make a risk matrix and think through it. I think that, like, if you are a first-time event producer, or you are new or novice or something like that, I think that saying, what are tools that I've seen elsewhere that I could apply to this that would help me do a good job? I think that's great. That's just lateral thinking. Great, go for it. But, you know, if I were putting on an event, ooh, shit, this seems like a real bad time. I think I'm mulliganing this for some of my better cards, like Lava Coils. But, you know, if I were just like, listen, I'm day 9, please, trust me, give me your money and I'll put on your event. The first thing we're going to do is make a risk matrix. I feel like people would go, who are you fucking talking to, man? Just put the event on. And I could use that myself, but, you know, people tend not to think or even speak that way. Dragonskull Summit! Well, farts. I think I'd get this one out of there. And draw that as a just in case. I want to keep the land a-flowing so I can entrance them with some of those sweet, sweet melodies. Okay, so first thing I want to opt to try to get an untapped mountain. It doesn't actually matter that much. Ooh, that's actually just so good, dude. But I already have so many lava coils. May as well get something more active. Like a discovery dispersal. You know, I think I just have to do this now. I think I just must. Heck were we talking about? Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, like, you know, there's something to be said for... I blow this dude up. Tap that, take a peek. Play an island. Shoot a dude. You know, and the reason I would actually say that I have a healthy disrespect for a lot of these types of things is that, for however chill I behave as a streamer, you know, like, running a business is hard. It's much less hard now, because I have a lot of stability that I have tried to craft over time, but... bit of a pain in the ass for quite some time, right? Bit of a big pain in the ass. And if I have an organizational tool that I think is nifty, and I want someone to pat me on the head and go, great job, Day 9, that's a really cool thing you made. For however much that might make me feel good, doesn't get you money. I don't get paid by the organizational tool. I get paid in a blunt fashion, right? If you tune in and you literally don't like my show and you turn the show off, all the money stops happening, okay? Go ahead and chuck this, but not try to actually summon it up. Like, in the most sincere of ways, the world does not care. And I think that that was a very useful education for me. And I mean, part of me already knew that, because StarCraft teaches you this too. StarCraft's like, it doesn't matter if you have a really cool forum post, man. You must win. That's it. That's all you got. So I mean, dude, oh my god, I have had people in my career of streaming be like, excuse me, I have done a thorough analysis, and I think XYZ nonsense, garbage, blah blah, that you really need to... Wow, that's actually so sick. Watch this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this Opt, and I'm going to go ahead and get this Entrancing Melody. Because Entrancing Melody I can cast for 0 and nab this thing. Let's get this, take that. One of the few times that we can actually Entrancing Melody. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Submit one. Yeah, why not? Yeah. You know, I've had people just be like, you know, I created a... Well, what's the thing that's like... It's like this really common chart that's done that's like risks, opportunities, cost. Like, what is this? There's this like stupid chart. Like I can't remember what the things are. Someone show me one of these charts. There's like 4 categories. White Rabbit says SWAT. That's right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Keep. And I mean, like, on one hand, yeah, you know, that's kind of a useful way to create some categories just to get you to think about it. So the idea is that you identify the strengths in the situation, the weaknesses in the situation, what opportunities there are in the future, and the sort of threats that are may or may not be existential threats. I mean, there's no two ways to put it, right? There's some real merit there. There's some real value. But again, no one tunes into Day 9 TV because I was really good at identifying the opportunities and weaknesses of my stream. Like, if I'm not funny, viewership goes down. If I say shit that I think is real funny, no one agrees with me. Maybe I should have kept that. Maybe I should have kept that. I'm going to keep these negates up. I think this is actually pretty useful. Like it actually doesn't matter. I don't want to counter this Wizard's Lightning. I think no. I think I let my opponent invest a little heavily. And this is, you know, like, if I may get all harsh from it's about as harsh as you're going to hear me ever be. Because I have a very harsh internal monologue, but I recognize that that's not a useful thing to project out into the world, so I instead opt to be a little bit more cheerful. Crap. Are you serious? Alright, well, what are you gonna do? That we actually like to see. Ooh. I think we're just gonna get that one out. I can blow up the board coming up. Yeah. So let me be harsh for a moment. There, like, you know what is a really good way to make more money as a streamer / get more people to tune in and give a crap? Be funnier. Be more interesting. Become better at speaking. There's all this cruft that is talked about a lot. There's a lot of cruft where, you know, people will be like, oh, you know, make sure that you are network 8 times every Tuesday. This other stuff. It's not, those aren't bad. Make no mistake. Those aren't bad. Right? Those aren't bad things. But they also aren't the reason that people tune in. People don't tune into me because I have a good network. They tune in because they want to watch me say and do things. Because I'm funny. At least some of the time. I would describe myself as a sufficiently funny person. If you want a real funny person, then tune into Tastosis, the casters of TSO. Those guys are actually so funny. Oh my god. Oh, holy butts, man. How do I live without me? You know, I am doing this, dude. Boy, that's just the wrongest. Yeah, I would describe myself as acceptably funny. And if you're like, no, Sean, you're actually so funny. Again, like, I grew up with my brother, so I know what a real funny person is actually like. But there's a lot of people that, like, you know, will with streaming, will be like, no, I'm funny. And I am interesting. Well, are you? You know, like, and it's not that they suck, but there is another part of me that's like, I'm not saying you're not funny, but I am saying, are you though? Like, because you have to be able to stand up and tell a story for 10 minutes that can make me laugh, like, on command. Like, you must be able to do that. But that's kind of a difficult thing to describe. That's kind of feels very amorphous, you know, and tricky. But it's, again, it's the thing that actually matters. Oh, what are you doing there, you bastard? I'm thinking we're dead here. I'm thinking that I'm not looking like a live person. Oh my god, this is just such an insult to me. I'm getting out of here. Getting out of here. And again, my statement is not like, you know, other people are funny. I'm using that because I think that humor is something that people have all felt and understand intuitively. And there's a lot of, like, first-class qualities that will make you a good streamer, such as, like, you are actually good at the game. That's very easy to measure. You are actually funny. You can be like, that guy's funny, because you see laughing happen, but boy, is that amorphous to understand how to step up the tier ladder. How do I become an S-class funny person? But it's also very measurable that very consistently funny and consistently amusing streamers do much better than boring streamers. And it's sort of... why the fuck am I even talking about this? Remember the thing I was talking about being a good and coherent speaker? Gotta work on that, man. Fuck. Why on earth are we talking about this? What my brain keeps doing is it keeps thinking back about that game and getting distracted. Keep thinking like, oh, should I adjust that deck? Oh, how do I sideboard against that? Oh my god. Oh well, whatever.